My name is KeAmber Vaughn, and unlike most budgeters in the YouTube space, I do not follow Dave Ramsey. Ow. What's up, you guys? It's KeAmber Vaughn, aka CoachKe, coming back to you with another video. If you are new to my channel, welcome, and if you are not new, welcome back. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and also tap the bell so that you are notified of every new video that I post. So as you can tell by the title of this video, I'm going to be talking about why I do not follow Dave Ramsey. So most of the popular budgeters on YouTube, even some of the ones who are not popular yet, mainly everybody follows Dave Ramsey. I've been following some of these individuals for quite some time. And in looking at their comment section, you have some people who are like, you know, just now starting to learn about Dave Ramsey, or maybe they've learned about Dave Ramsey a long time ago, and they always talk about how these people are not following Dave Ramsey like to a T. I've actually had some people come in my comment section in previous videos saying, oh, well, Dave Ramsey says to do it like this, Dave Ramsey says to do it like that. Well, here's the thing. Unlike most of the YouTubers, the budgeters in this YouTube space, I do not follow Dave Ramsey at all. There's no modified Dave Ramsey. There's no modified every dollar budget. I do not follow Dave Ramsey. Okay, I've said it in plenty of my videos, but I never really have really laid out exactly why. So for the most part, there are 5 reasons why I do not follow the Dave Ramsey plan. This is not to sway anybody away from Dave Ramsey. He has a lot of good teachings. I actually am subscribed to his YouTube channel. I love watching his videos. I love seeing the advice and hearing the advice that he gives to people. But as far as his plan to get out of debt, it does not work for me. It will not work for me. And I'm going to tell you guys exactly why. So reason number 1 why I do not follow Dave Ramsey is because I do not like the every dollar budget. I do not like it whatsoever. As I have explained in plenty of my Budget With Me videos, I am self-employed. That is something else that somebody, I guess that person was new to my channel, but they were like, oh my God, you don't even use your real numbers. Well, the thing is, I can't use my real numbers because I'm self-employed. I do not know ahead of time how much money I'm going to make in a month. But either way, the every dollar budget does not work for me. So here's a couple of reasons. Number 1, again, because I'm self-employed. Now, I feel like the every dollar budget works a lot better for people who are on salary, or they work 20 to 40 hours a week at a job. They know exactly how much their income is going to be. But for somebody who's self-employed, you can't really put a name to every single dollar when you don't even know the dollar amount that's coming in. For most self-employed people, their income can fluctuate. You can have a really high month this month, and then the very next month it could be a completely low month. And the thing is, if you're following an every dollar budget and you're assigning every dollar a name, essentially by the end of that month you have spent every single dollar, whether it has gone out towards bills, it has gone out towards groceries, personal household, those kind of things, or you have put the rest of that money that was left over that you didn't roll over towards debt. And so if you have shifted all of your money out that you made for this particular month, and then the following month you have a low income month where, let's say, you don't earn enough to pay your bills, then you're kind of screwed because you've already given every dollar that you made last month a name, if that makes sense. Yeah, I just think it's very, very dangerous for people who are self-employed, whose income is very irregular and it varies. And I have some notes right in front of me to make sure that I say each and every point that I want to make. So another thing with the every dollar budget, there are a couple of people who I watch on YouTube who I'm subscribed to. I absolutely love their channels, who use the every dollar budget, who are self-employed, who have irregular incomes. And on a couple of occasions, I've watched them literally put themselves in the hole one month because they're paying off all of this debt. They don't have a lot of money in savings per Dave Ramsey's teachings. And then the month that they have a low income month, they're having to pull from their savings, and their savings is kind of like not really that much to begin with. So I've seen that happen on multiple occasions, and I've seen a couple of these people kind of change things up a little bit so that, you know, they don't start paying off debt to the very end of the month instead of paying off debt a little bit each week depending on how much money they make. I've seen some of them beef up their savings to be more than what he suggests, all because they had that one point in time where they lived paycheck to paycheck and actually lived under what they actually, like, they didn't make as much money to cover their bills and be able to pay debt. So even before seeing that happen, I kind of knew that that was the dangers of somebody being self-employed, being on his plan. But then I was able to see it for myself, various people across the platforms. And so, yeah, it's a no for me. Oh, so the last thing about the every dollar budget that I don't like is that because you're assigning every single dollar a name, so what you end up doing, whatever your surplus is that you kind of estimate, let's say that you estimate that you'll have like $700 left over at the end of the month. Well, you're going to assign that $700 for your debt payment. Well, because you're essentially trying to spend every dollar that you make, whether it's put in savings, whatever, then that means that if something unexpected comes up, let's say that you get into a car accident, or let's say you break your glasses, you need a new pair of glasses, whatever the case may be, you have not allotted for that unexpected thing to happen. So what happens is, let's say your glasses are $200. Well, now instead of you putting $700 towards your debt, you're only putting $500 towards your debt. And so I don't really like that. When I estimate something, I'm expecting for the only way for me to not reach that goal of me paying off that much in debt is if I don't earn as much money as I thought I was going to earn. Back in January last month, I wasn't able to put money towards debt or savings because I had something like astronomical happen to where I really needed to focus all of my income on that. But that happens like very, very far and few between. So yeah, that's reason number one. So reason number two, I do not follow Dave Ramsey is because he suggests that in baby step 1, for you to save only $1,000. And I believe if you earn less than, I think it's less than like $1,000, like if you work only part-time or something like that, like if you earn like a part-time income, then he suggests that you save $500 to start your baby step 1 before you start going towards paying off debt with the gazelle intensity. $1,000 is just not a lot. I mean, maybe when I was like 16, 17 years old, I mean, that wasn't even a lot at that point because I had that much saved up myself. Like, I had thousands of dollars saved up before I even graduated high school. But it's just like, as an adult, to me, having only $1,000 in your savings is very dangerous, whether you have a job or if you're somebody who's self-employed. I've seen people be on jobs for 20 plus years, get laid off, and you know, if they only had $1,000 in their savings, now granted they should be debt free at that point, but let's be real, like in real life, people are not debt free after being on a job for years and years and years. And so if you are somebody who, you know, you think you have this job security and something was to happen, or maybe it's something where you get sick and you're not able to work for an extended period of time, $1,000 is not really going to stretch most people for even like 1 month worth of their bills. And I do know that there are some people in this YouTube space who are on like a modified Dave Ramsey budget or every dollar budget or his plan or whatever, but I'm strictly like going based off of how he specifically tells you to get out of debt. Okay, so yeah, $1,000 to me is no, it's no. And I know, like, I spoke to a couple of people like in comment sections who said, oh, well, you know, having only $1,000 in my savings, it kind of just like pushes me even harder. And while that's cool if you're somebody who's not in a lot of debt, so you know, you kind of foresee yourself getting out of debt pretty quickly, if you're somebody who's going to take like 5 to 10 years to get out of debt, having $1,000 in your savings is just not enough to me. I get it, but nah. So that's reason number 2. Reason number 3 is I don't like that you're not saving money while paying off debt. So I've been on this journey of trying to pay off debt for quite some time now. When I first started out, I think my highest debt balance might have been about $45,000. And it was like I would have these spurts of time where I would like, you know what, I got some extra money this month, I'm gonna throw $600 at my debt, or I got some extra money, I'm gonna throw $1,000 at my debt, but I had no like specific plan. And this was like a couple of years ago. And so every time I stopped paying off debt, it was because I'm like, man, it kind of hurt for me to like shoot out $600 to $1,000 in debt this month, but I wasn't really saving at the same time. Now, granted, I had money in my savings, but it was just hard for me to like let that money go. So I would do it like a couple months in a row, and then I would just like not do it for a couple months, and then do it for a couple months, and then not do it for a couple months. And so I realized that with my personality, it does not work for me to pay off debt but not be saving money at the same time. But when I can make a pretty substantial debt payment and I save about the same money at the same time, it works for my psyche. Okay, I'm kind of OCD sometimes when it comes to certain things, but it's just like I'm very, very obsessed when it comes to my finances, and certain things I know like have to be a certain way for my mentality, and saving money at the same time as paying off debt is something I have to be able to do. So that's reason number 3. Reason number 4, I don't like how strict he wants you to be with your finances, because at the end of the day, life happens and things happen. And to me, like, since I've like really been in the financial industry for the last like going on 2 years, one thing that I noticed is that for most people are not able to stay committed and stay consistent when it comes to most budgets because they are too strict. One of the things that like, or not one, but a couple of the things that I hear Dave Ramsey say all the time, especially when he's like talking to callers and they're telling him about their situation, and he's like, oh no, you're broke, there's no vacations, there's no eating out at restaurants, you need to pick up a part-time job delivering pizzas, and what's another thing, oh, you just need to be eating beans and rice until you're out of debt. And while he might not necessarily be like for real he wants you to eat beans and rice, it's just the fact that like that lets you know how strict he expects you to be. And I just don't think that budgeting should be that way. I think that you definitely need a plan. You definitely need something that is, I don't want to say strict, but you need something that's like it's like straight into the point, but you don't want something that's so strict that it discourages you. Like, oh snap, I was supposed to only spend $100 in restaurants this month, but now I'm at $125. It's still 2 weeks left. I guess I just can't go out to eat, even though my family's going out to eat 2 more times until the end of the month. Like, no vacays, like, I just, no, that ain't for me. And at the end of the day, has Dave Ramsey's stuff worked for people? Absolutely. I've seen a lot of people become debt free based on his teachings and based on his suggestions and based on what he tells people to do. But at the same time, I do know that for some people, based on our mentalities or based on our personalities, certain things just won't work, okay? So that's reason number 4. So those are the 4 reasons why I do not follow Dave Ramsey. I thought it was 5. I don't know, but it's only 4. And so going into the last part of this video, I know I'm going to get some questions in the comment section or probably like inbox through social media, people asking me, well, what plan do you use? So back in October of 2016 is when I started to get very, very serious about my finances. I started to look like over my finances on a monthly basis, and I'm like, okay, what do I need to do? I started to calculate how much money I had in bills that were actually debt, and I calculated that I was spending a little over $800 a month in debt payments as far as bills go. And I'm like, okay, so if I just get rid of this $25,000 in debt I have left, well then I'll have $800 in cash flow coming back into my pockets on a monthly basis. So I kind of wrote down a bunch of different debt plans and budgeting plans that I had tried over the years. And as I looked past them or back at them, I'm like, okay, see why that didn't work. I see why that didn't work. And then I started to research other plans that were out there. I revisited Dave Ramsey. I revisited a couple others, and I just didn't like what I saw, honestly. Mainly for the same reasons that I just gave you guys earlier in this video. Mostly everything was like very, very strict, and I don't like stuff like that. It gives me anxiety, and I just cannot deal. So what I did was I said, okay, well, how about I just come up with a plan for myself, something that will help me. It'll fit my personality. It'll fit the fact that I'm self-employed. I need something that's adjustable, something that is customizable, something that I can adjust easily based on however much money that I earn in the month. If my income goes up, I'm good. If it goes down, I'm good. You know, I needed something that was like that. And so I developed a plan for myself originally. And in my first 12 months on that plan, I was able to pay off over $14,000 in debt. I was able to save $10,000, which for me, I saved, I had already had $2,000 in my savings. I put another $1,000 in that fully funded my mini emergency fund, because for me a mini emergency fund is $3,000, not $1,000. And then I was also able to put $9,000 in my true emergency fund, which for those of you all watching who follow Dave Ramsey, that is equivalent to finishing baby step 3. So I essentially finished baby step 1 and baby step 3 at the same time that I was doing baby step 2. Okay. And so after I fully funded my true emergency fund and my mini emergency fund, I stopped putting money in my savings until I was out of credit card debt. I had 8 debts at the time that I started this. I was over $25,000 in debt. At the end of this month, I should only have a little less than $7,000 in debt left. I've been on my last debt for a couple of months now. It's my car note. And during this time, what I like the best out of like what I've been doing for myself is that it got rid of the 4 reasons why I didn't want to follow Dave Ramsey's plan. This was not something that was strict. I've still been able to go on vacations. I've still been able to enjoy my money. I just feel like in this day and age, life is so short. Like, you need to enjoy your money while you're here. I remember before my grandpa passed a couple years ago, like he would just like do crazy stuff with his money. Sometimes he was very, very smart, invested in stuff, but he would do crazy stuff with his money sometimes. And he's like, Papa, why'd you do that? He's like, look, I made my money. I worked hard for my money, and I'm going to enjoy it. And I believe that people should do that. Sometimes does you enjoying your money like contribute to some of the bad financial habits that you have? Of course. But if you can fix your financial habits and fix your mentality that you have in regards to money and finances, then everything else will start to fall in place and everything else will start to fall in line. I was able to save the money while I was paying off debt. I was able to do so many things. And the biggest thing for me is that it wasn't stressful. It wasn't strict. So it didn't give me high anxiety, which meant that for me, it was very easy to stay committed to and stay consistent with. And so after I was on this plan for about a year, a little over a year, and after I seen what it had done for me and a couple of people who I shared it with, at that point I said, you know what, let me just go ahead and share it with the world. And so I've already shared it with like people who follow me on different social media platforms, but I never really came to you guys about this because at first I just honestly wasn't going to do it. But at the same time, I do know that there are some people who watch my videos who maybe you've tried Dave Ramsey, maybe you've tried other budgets or debt elimination systems out there and you didn't like how strict it was, or you haven't been able to find something that works very well with your personality, or maybe you're like me and you're self-employed and you want something that's still like something for you to follow, that's kind of set in stone, but it's not strict at the same time. And so back in December is when I launched my financial wellness program. It's literally a 9-step system. It's a video program. It takes you step by step, the exact same steps that I use to get my finances in order, to get myself on track to become financially free. I show you how to do a very, very thorough analysis of your finances based on your history, based on your past financial habits, whether they were good or bad. I show you how to properly assess your debts and figure out which order you want to pay them off in and all those different things. And then the very last step is showing you my exact method that I use, how I use my method to create a financial plan that is customized and personalized. And from that financial plan, you can develop a little tiny budget from there. You guys see on my YouTube channel, I do budgets. It's just my budget is not very strict, you know, so when I do go over, it's okay, because for me, when I assess my income on a weekly basis, I know exactly how much of that income I'm going to put towards my debt. I know how much of that money I'm going to put towards my savings based on a couple of small calculations. And then I also know how much money I'm going to keep in my checking, because I have to keep money in my checking, not just for bills, not just for my everyday expenses like groceries and stuff like that. I also have to keep money in my checking for like rainy day stuff, for unexpected things. Because for me, like I told you guys earlier in this video, I don't want to estimate that I want to put like this amount of money towards something and then I can't do that because, oh, something unexpected comes up. Because guess what? Unexpected things happen. I think I've had unexpected things happen literally every single month since I started budgeting. See, for me, when I first started this plan, I was not budgeting with it. I knew how much I was putting towards that. I knew how much I was keeping in my savings, and I knew how much I was keeping in my checking for bills and stuff, but I didn't even have a written budget at that point. I literally used my like system and my financial planning for almost a full year before I even started budgeting. And after I added budgeting into it, it just made it all the more better. But I would have still been at this point now, even if I never added budgeting to it, which is pretty cool. And so yeah, so if you're out there, like I said, and you're like me, you've been searching for something and you're just looking for something else that you can, you know, possibly use for yourself, because nothing out here really works for you, especially if you're somebody who's self-employed. I invite you to take a look at what I have going on. I will leave the link down in the description box. I will also have it go across your screen. The link is www.yourfinancialsolution.net. It will tell you everything about the program, and then you'll also be able to see a walkthrough of my financial planner. If you have not seen that, I will link that up in the eye in the sky, or you will see it on that page. This financial planner, I didn't even come up with this until I was almost a year into my financial planning, and I still did just fine with it. But then I started to get annoyed because there were certain things that I wanted in a planner that I wouldn't be able to find out there in the stores. I wouldn't be able to find online, because again, if I made a program, a financial planning system that was tailored to myself, and I just so happen to share it with other people, if I made it up myself, there's no way I'm going to find a planner that's tailored to my system, because I made it up myself. So that was the whole purpose of me coming out with the planner, not just for myself, but also for other people who have been on my financial wellness program, or people in the future who get on it, who also want a planner to be able to make everything correlate and kind of keep all of their financial information in one place. So yeah, so that is pretty much that. Like I said, I follow Dave Ramsey's YouTube videos. I love his advice when it comes to investing and different things like that. It's just his particular debt elimination system and programs or whatever does not work for me personally. It works for other people. Actually, if I was on his plan right now, if I was to call into his show and say, listen, Dave, I have this much in my savings, I have this much in debt, what am I supposed to do? He's going to tell me you need to dump your savings to your debt, become debt free, and then build that savings back up. But again, that's not something that works for my personality. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Feel free to leave a comment down below. Please, please, please keep the comments cool. Like, it doesn't even necessarily have to be positive, but negative comments, I'll just delete them and probably block you at the same time, because it's not about agreeing or disagreeing. It's just about really respecting other people's opinions. Not everybody's going to like the same plan that you like. Not everybody's going to do the same things that you do. But please give this video a thumbs up, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.